Hello goat lovers, this is Crystal with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. What started with 4 chickens and 2 goats quickly grew into a lifestyle. So we moved, got more land, and of course, more goats. Follow our adventures as we grow our herd, our food, and our family. These girls don't know it yet, but it is officially going to be their last milking of the year. So we're going to start drying these girls up. We're getting ready, here shortly. We're going to be breeding. So this morning will be the last time. I'm going to completely drain them out. And this evening they won't be getting milked. So I have been milking, and of course I had help with the family, but every single morning and night since February. So it's been quite a few months. Kind of a bittersweet kind of thing, really, because I'll be excited to not have the additional chore, but not very excited to not have the goat milk in the fridge. So one of those things, but it's time either way to get them dried up. These girls are 6 months into their lactation, so they'll probably dry up really easily for me. If they were early in the lactation or just had their kids, that wouldn't be the case. I'd have to probably relieve them, and I still might have to. We're just going to have to gauge and see. Just continue to check the udders as we're drying them up. This morning was their last milk out for the year, and this evening they're not going to get milked. But we are still going to put them on the stand to lighten the blow a little, because this is their crack. This is what they really care about. So I'm not going to give nearly as much as they did get, but just a little treat for them. Putting them on the stand so at least they have that part of this milking routine. Again, it just lightens the blow a little bit for them. So to dry up your does, of course you're going to have to skip a milking. Tell the body that it doesn't need to be producing that milk, which is what's going to happen when they bag up. Whatever works best for you guys, you can decide which milking to skip. We like to skip the evening milking. The reason being is the sun's going to go down shortly and they're not going to be screaming at us. Whereas if we were to not milk them in the morning, they'd be screaming all day because they're going to want milk and they'll want their scratch. So that's what we do. You are a stinker. So you guys see how we tricked them? They got on the stand. They didn't get their normal grain ration, but they did get something, and they're going back to their feed. Here in a second they're going to notice though. But the sun's going to be down, so it won't be too horrible. They won't be screaming for too long. It has been 24 hours since these girls have been milked. So what we're going to do, same routine. We're just going to put them on the stand, give them a little treat. And this allows me to check their udders as well. So you want to make sure that they're not too bagged up. If you come on in, so when you're checking the udder, what you want to look for, the first thing I'm going to do is bump them up and down. You see how much movement there is there? They're not too tight. So you're also going to feel for heat. If it's super hot, that's not a good sign. And you want to make sure they're not leaking or anything. She's not so full that she would begin to leak. So she's good. I'm not going to have to relieve her at all. Alright, so same thing with Elsa. Now she is tighter than Cammie is, but look at how much give she's got. She's good. So just filling all around. So again, I want to highlight that these girls are 6 months into their lactation. If they were 2 months or even 3 months, I would absolutely be having to relieve them a little bit right now. And if I were to be relieving them, you know, I'm not going to drain the udder completely out. I'm just going to get it enough to where it has give like this. You know, just milk enough evenly, because you don't want to mess up your udder. You know, so you would just drain them out a little bit on each side, just enough to give them relief. But she's good. I'm not going to have to milk her either. So Dawn here, when I was talking about relieving, this actually, the unevenness happened from when she had triplets, and the triplets favored one side, and I just have not been able to correct it. But that's why she is uneven. So if you are relieving them, just make sure that you're doing it evenly, because something like that can happen as well. But she's looking good too. Just check for that. So they were super tight. It'd be up here. You wouldn't be able to move it much. And there's a good chance they'd be leaking. She's good. Alright, this is Lacey. She's good. See the movement? She's got more milk in her than the other four, but she's one of my star milkers too, so. But she does not need relieved either. When drying up your does, you cannot just stop milking them. You need to, for one, know your doe, because if they're a heavy milker, you're going to want to make sure you're on top of that. If they get too bagged up, it can cause a lot of problems. They can get mastitis, which can kill them or even lose part of the udder, and their orifice will open. Their T orifice will actually open up. They'll start leaking. They lay in the dirt. Dirt can get inside there, and it can give them mastitis, a really bad infection. And again, it can kill them, and it's extremely painful for them. Another thing, they can get milk fever, just too bagged up, and that can also kill them, make them really sick. So you just want to make sure you're always keeping an eye on them. If you were just to sell some babies from a doe, you need to milk her, because that's not gonna, she's not gonna just dry up more than likely without having to be relieved at all. Just keep a really close eye on them whenever you're trying to dry up your does. And also, they might try to relieve themselves. If they start relieving themselves, meaning they're drinking their own milk, there's no point in this animal anymore. Good luck trying to get them to quit. They're just going to drink their own milk because they know they can. And yes, they can reach. So just a couple things to consider. Not only is it very painful for them, and they can get really sick, potentially even die, they might start drinking their own milk. So we have been milking these girls every 12 hours for 6 months. So last night we skipped it, putting them at 24 hours full right now. So we're going to go another 12 hours this evening. I'm going to come back in here and check them again. We finally got some rain, guys. It has been 36 hours since we've milked them. And again, just putting them on the stand and going to be checking them. They are a little bit tighter. Cammy here is. She doesn't have any leaking. Her udder feels fine. It's not overly hot. Feels good. She still got a lot of give there. So at this point, again, because they're late in the lactation, they really shouldn't be producing any more milk. So when I come out here in the morning, what I'm expecting is for her not to be any more bagged up, but more just the same size, really. So, of course, I'm going to keep an eye on it. We'll be checking them in the morning as well, but I bet you their bodies have told them that they don't need to produce it anymore, because at this point it's 36 hours. They haven't had to release any milk. So their body told them the kids didn't need to eat anything, and it should, the next day or two, their body should begin to absorb the milk. So, she's good. I'm going to check the other does. Alright, now for Elsa. You guys see she's got a lot of give still. She does have more milk than she did this morning. Feels good temperature-wise. She's not freaking out. She's good. With a pretty udder. Alright, Dawn. She's good. A little bit more milk. Her udder feels good to the touch. Good. Alright, let's check Lacey. Still has give. She has got such a nice udder. She's 9 years old almost, guys. Those are some good genes. Feels good to the touch. She's good. So there you have it, 36 hours. These girls are doing good. Here we are at 48 hours since any of these girls have been drained out. Looking good. And last night, if you guys remember, I said I suspect that they won't have any more milk this morning than they did last night, and they don't. Well, she doesn't. I'm going to check the rest, but... So at this point, their body told them they don't need to produce anymore. Next couple of days, they'll start absorbing it into their body. See you, girl. Good. She might even already be absorbing it just slightly, actually. Looking good. Drying them up has gone much, much smoother with us putting them on the stand and still giving them a little bit of their crack or grain. It's hard enough for them to have to be bagged up. It's uncomfortable. You know, it makes them aggy, makes them scream, makes them annoyed. So at least keeping the routine going and giving them a little bit of scratch, which I need to check them anyway. It really makes it a lot easier on them, less stressful. Not as loud. She's good too. So none of them have produced any more milk to tighten up. Yeah, they should start absorbing that soon. So we're doing good. We're doing good. So it has been 60 hours, 5 skipped milkings. We're checking them again here this evening. So I have been giving them about 2 handfuls. Today this evening they're just getting it 1. I'm going to slow that down as well, which we don't want them having this to up their milk either. Keeping that in mind, cut the grain. Let's see, Cammie. She doesn't really want to be bothered, but she has not made any more milk. She's good. Really lovely teats. Let's see you, girl. I know. Yeah, I can tell you guys, she's already starting to absorb that. Elsa is. Udder feels good. Lots of room for more milk. Just 1 handful. That's it. Alright. This girl's staying pretty tight, but she's not leaking. She's still got give here. Still has room. She's a really good milker, so she is good to go. Don't have to relieve her either. Alright, this milk cow here, she's doing really good as well. She's got a full udder for sure, but she's still got room. She hasn't produced any more since this morning, so their bodies, all 4 of them, are telling them it's okay to stop producing, which is what we're looking for. 72 hours now. And she's absorbing it. Definitely less milk than last evening. Good job. She's good. Well, these girls are looking really good. They're already starting to absorb it. Not drastically or anything, but I can definitely tell there's less milk in all of their udders. And so this evening, we're gonna skip this routine. They're not gonna get this, they're not gonna get put on the stand. All good, girl. We are at day 6 with drying up these girls. I just want to show you guys. I hope you can tell the difference. The last you saw was 72 hours. They have started to absorb the milk quite a bit now. So they're not even slightly tight. They are good. Their body's doing exactly what I wanted them to do, and they're drying up. You're not getting a scratch. You're gonna be ornery. Alright, let's check Elsa. Let me see, girl. Let's see. Even her, big time. So she was like this. So yeah, her body is absorbing that milk as well, just like we want it to. The only reason they are absorbing this so quickly and they're drying up so quickly is because they're so late into their lactation. You know, they've been milking for just over 6 months. So I just want to highlight again, if you guys are, you know, if they just came into milk, then you'd want to make sure that you are watching them, and you will have to relieve them if they're good milkers. So just, you know, you guys didn't see me milking them out or relieving them at all, but that was solely because they're so late into the lactation. You're a butt. All right, Dawn. Check you out. See all that give, guys? The udders feel good. Absorbing. You're trying up nice. Good and absorbing it. I know. So if you're new to the whole drying your does up process, you know, keep a very, very close eye on them. You cannot just stop milking them and think that they're just going to go off and be fine. You know, they may be, but you still have to keep a close eye on them. Depending on where they are in their lactation, you might have to keep a closer eye. These girls are far enough into their lactation that I didn't have to relieve them at all. But if they were a couple months in, a month in, anything like that, I absolutely would have had to relieve them. They can get mastitis, which is awful. You know, their teat just opens, they lay down in the dirt, and dirt will get into their teats, and they'll get an infection. It could kill them. They can also get milk fever, which can kill them. It's just too much milk. And, you know, they may even try to relieve themselves. If they start drinking off of themselves, that is worst case scenario for a doe. So, and if they do start, it's a really hard habit to kick. So anyway, just keep a really close eye on them. Check for lumps, check for the heat in their udder. You know, if it's hot, watch your doe. Make sure you see how they are reacting. If they're off feed, if they look really uncomfortable, anything like that. So, but that's it. As far as drying them up for this week, all of them are now absorbing the milk. So I feel really good about it. We'll let you guys see exactly what it looks like next week as well, because now that they're absorbing it, it'll go fairly quickly.